You are so different now. So different.
You want to know why I'm different?
Yeah.
I'm different because I'm more of who I really am versus who I wanted everybody to see me as. You become a monster so that people leave you alone. That's what I was comfortable with. I was used to being alone. So you create a persona that makes people leave you alone. But then when there's no more enemy, that energy's still there. So what are they going to do with it? They create an enemy within themselves, and all that destructive force turns inward.
All right. Hi, we're back. I'm extremely pumped to have.
I am too.
And Amber is too, to have our newest guest on, friend,
Former teammate,
Mikal Vega. Mikal is a retired Navy SEAL, turned Kundalini Yoga instructor. He directs the Call of Duty line of Call of Duty games, but I don't want to get that wrong. I want you to get into everything you're doing. Just all around badass, amazing individual who I've had the honor to call one of my very close friends and who's been my teacher and mentor throughout this journey that we call life over the last couple of years.
and is a huge part of the vet story, and part of the, I think, impetus for this podcast, whatever this turns out to be, for us, is to honor and recognize those who played such a huge part in the first phase of the story. And so when you were really struggling, we didn't know Mikal. But he was helping us in the background. Yeah.
And I want to say something because we hadn't spoken for about a year, and we talked a few weeks ago, and it was awesome. I think over an hour, and I just felt so good after our conversation. But I want you to know that even though we haven't spoken, I brag about you all the time. I talk about you all the time, always in a good light, by the way.
I hope so.
You're the guy, and so if we don't speak to each other, always know that you have a massive place in my heart, and I call you a brother and a friend, and I'm just super stoked we get to just bullshit today and talk about stuff.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Let's start with your childhood and the fact that your dad was a
There
SEAL.
she goes.
You were a SEAL.
Yeah.
But you were in the SEAL teams since you were born, more or less.
Yep.
Let's start there.
I was a baby in buds. Yeah, literally. Like my dad was going through buds and I was screaming while he was trying to sleep.
Damn.
So that class 66, he was class 66. Just had a good phone call with him today, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
I met him at the gala 2 years ago, and I've met your mom as well.
Tried to introduce you.
But did you hear what happened though?
I heard you had like some kind of an incident with
it. Just I had
your belly or something.
He needed to get his diaper changed.
I had to get my diaper changed, so I went up to the room and fell asleep while my diaper was getting changed. No, it was, I would say it was like 75% of the gala 2 years ago that was over, and they were starting the party, and I was having like the craziest back pains where all I wanted to do was sit down, and I was a little frustrated.
Oh, it was your back, not your belly.
No, it was it was my back. I had
He
really bad
really
back
got
stuff.
it.
Yeah, I thought it was belly.
And Amber didn't know. Nobody knew. I literally snuck away, went upstairs to our
Decompress
room,
your belly.
took my shoes off, put my feet up, like unbuttoned my bow tie, and I was like, I just need to lie down.
Meanwhile, everyone's like,
while.
where's Marcus?
And
And I'm
Amber
like,
came in
I
at
don't
like,
know.
I don't even know, 1 a.m. and you were like, where the are
You
you?
didn't check out what the LPO before you
Nothing.
split?
Nobody knew where I was. Amber didn't know where I
Well,
was.
don't worry. Everyone asked me, and I was like, I don't know either.
Andrew Huberman was like, where's
I think
Marcus?
he's on the other side of the room over there.
Okay, so I met your dad, and he seemed so kind. I mean, I had a really spicy dad whenever I was younger, and he's really mellowed in his later years.
Spicy.
Would you say
I've
this?
never heard.
Would you say the same for your dad? Tell us about your dad.
Yes, my dad was a plank owner of SEAL Team 6. And I grew up with, all those guys around, Danny Chucker, all the,
Did you know Dick Marcinko?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. So, and we'll leave it at that. But I personally have for the record, I've never met the man, never talked to the man, never got nothing against anybody. but no, I did not ever meet him. So, but moving on with my father, he was, my family got, divorced. Like they divorced when I was like 3 or 4 or something like that. I don't know. Those numbers may be off, Dad. Sorry. Like if I'm getting these numbers all screwed up and I've got a distorted picture of this, I'm sure you'll correct me later, but it's too late. This is out there.
He still
Sorry.
loves you.
I'm doing my best. It's all about where we are now, not, let's learn from the lessons of the past instead of dwelling upon the problems of the future.
Are you an only child?
Spoken like a mentor.
I am. So
we're all only children.
Oh man.
I have 2 half brothers. I wasn't raised with them, but we are all only children, which is it's not easy to be an only child. What was your childhood like?
Lonely,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest.
Same.
So when they got divorced, my mom didn't make a lot of money. She had worked 2 jobs, yada, yada, yada. I was alone a lot. Like a lot of kids in the 80s were alone, like growing up, I think, the latchkey kid type thing. So, but when they got divorced, I went up to Ohio and stayed with my grandmother. That's where I was born.
I was going to ask. So where did you grow
Akron,
up?
Ohio.
Okay.
So I spent my summers in Ohio and then
Same.
went to school in Virginia.
My dad was in Ohio. He was in Oxford. Yeah. So I spent all
We've
my
talked
summers.
about this.
I
Like we
think
do.
Yeah.
There's alignments there that like,
You guys are vibing.
yeah. There's a whole Christ thing there too. So it's real. So I spent my time in between there. And then when I go up to Ohio in the summer, everybody worked, and everybody had to earn a living. So I was at home alone on a farm. Like they did their best, here's your burritos, here's a moped. Don't kill yourself. I've never ridden a moped, but this is awesome.
I have the same
We had
story.
the same story. This is really
I drove
weird.
a Honda Spree through a sliding glass door because my dad was like, go ride the moped. Weird.
And you could either wear sunglasses or a helmet, one or the other, but you had to wear one of them.
I picked the sunglasses
seriously,
for sure.
That was
It sucks getting a June bug in the eye.
That was the advice that you were given.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
That's cool.
So summertime mopeds, grandparents, all tracking.
But I was alone a lot. And my grandmother was, they made me go to church. It was a Baptist type of situation.
Oh,
and
same. Go figure. Yeah.
And so it's been, and I'm really grateful for that. But even at an early age, this is nice dovetail that to you.
This is great.
Yeah.
It's all great.
Even at an early age, I was able to go, okay, you're telling me these things about God. You're telling me about these things about God. You're making me memorize verses out of this book. And you're not really doing the things that I'm reading in this book. So I'm confused, and I don't think this means what you say it means. I think I'm feeling something different. And I was alone so often that and I really enjoyed the Bible. For the record, that is a book of truth that has been there and continues to prove itself as truth for me. Continually, it's just truth after truth after truth after truth. And it's progressed, so I'll come back to this piece a little bit later, but it's so as a kid, I just like the cool stories. I mean, who doesn't like the stories about dragons and lions and giants and, and wait, this is all real? Yes, this is all real. The earth actually flooded? Yes, it did. And all these stories of, just the power of God in Christ. And those all felt true to me. Like I never found hypocrisy in the book when I read it. The only hypocrisy I ever saw was when I heard other people talking about the book that I read. That's it. And then them telling me what I need to do and how I need to be when they're not doing it. I would do it and I'd get benefit, But I was seeing like, these people, they kind of suck, and they're very judgmental, and they're not welcoming to, other people's perspective of what they're reading. Or when you challenge them on your interpretation of what it says, they'll get violent about it. It's
Amber, is that your experience too? Is it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have a lot of the same sorts of concerns and experiences, but yeah, I totally,
because I wasn't brought up like you two, right? Like I had a Catholic father, a Jewish mother. I went to church with him on like
Christmas and Easter,
and I didn't understand anything that was going on. Like I never read the Bible, until later on in life where I read it multiple times, and I pick it up, I put it down, I'm trying to understand it. I will commit to going back to reading it and understanding it because I'm searching and I'm so interested.
How are you reading it? That's the problem.
That's
like,
what I mean.
Are you reading it page by page to like a? No.
I read it like a book, like stories.
No. That's not what I do.
Got it.
That's not what I do. What I do, and then you can try this out.
Yeah.
Like I say a prayer, I pray. And then before I'm going to go into my deep prayers, I'll let my mind become blank. I'll open the book, I'll look, and wherever my face hits, it's like, boom. And then there's going to be some message there. Now, if you wind up in the Old Testament, like,
I like the Old Testament.
Okay. But not the part where,
fire and brimstone or what?
Well, Abraham begat, and this person begat, and this person begat, and it's like 3 pages of begatting.
Or they're measuring
hundreds of years in age.
Measuring
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cubic.
Like the size of the temple.
The size of
thing.
the temple, yeah.
Even then, you might be able to open up to something there that might not be. But at face value, I'll typically be New Testament, and I'll open, and then I'll start reading. And then sometimes that's just an interesting little section. Other times it's a direct impact. It's like a direct hit, fires for effect. And it's like, okay, got it. Cool. That's very applicable. And then I'll go into my deeper prayers. And so for me, I had a lot of abuse when I was a child. Like there was a lot of physical abuse, sexual abuse, like all these types of things that ultimately, and I talked about this on the Sean Ryan show, that drove me to my first suicide attempt when I was 11. So it was bad. Like it was bad. And I said this on the Sean Ryan show, but like I was sitting there, I had an M4 in my head. I was pulling the slack out of the trigger, and I stopped, and I was like, if this isn't, I just want to come be with you, God.
At 11.
At 11. Damn. And I was like, I just want to come be with you, God. Like, I don't like it here. I hate it here. Like everybody, I don't fit here. And I was like, is it okay if I can come be with you? If it's not, please give me a sign. And literally, like, not 2 seconds, I hear branches snapping, and this huge buck steps out from behind this tree and is just staring at me, like from here to the corner there, which is, for the audience, is about 20 feet, 25 feet. And I was like, okay. And then I tried to shoot the deer.
Well, of course you did.
And I missed horribly. I missed horribly for the record. I missed horribly. And from then on, maybe even before that a little bit, but from then on, I always felt God's presence. I could always feel the presence of Christ in my life, and I could feel the truth of God. And that's never gone away, nor will it ever. It's just gotten stronger and stronger through all the other things. I forgot a lot of times, but every time I'd look, it was there, always there. I've been through, just like everybody that does what we do, I've been through a lot of different challenges, a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations. And just reading the Bible wasn't working. It wasn't. It just wasn't. It was, I would literally because I went through EODs. When I first joined the Navy, I joined the Navy when I was 17. I went into EOD school.
What's that? What's
Explosive
EOD?
Ordnance Disposal, Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad.
Became a senior EOD tech, and then I went into the SEAL teams.
What made you
Buds Class
enlist
224.
in the Navy?
Lack of options.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and your dad.
Did you feel like
here's the thing,
or
man.
it was not.
Here's the thing. I wanted to be an actor since the age of 6. That's what I did. I was like a Glee Club kid.
Well, you're carrying out your dream now.
Yeah, but that's funny, isn't it? Like I certainly went around my head to get to my asshole. You know? So,
very different lines of work. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. Subconsciously, though, you ended up in the Navy. Your dad was a plank owner.
I get it. Here's the thing. Like when I was 6, I used to beg my grandmother to send me to acting school all the way through elementary, junior high, high school. I was top hat dancing.
I want to see some of those videos.
What? I don't think they exist. They didn't have iPhones back then.
The Zelensky videos from back in the day.
No, they weren't that. They weren't that.
Those are great.
No, these were much more classy and refined.
All right, yeah, because that's what you are.
But that's what I did, and I really enjoyed performing. Musical theater, all the things. And then I never had an outlet or any support for developing that post-school. So it was like, what are my options? My mom didn't want me at the house. So, I mean, she kicked me out of the house when I was 15, 16.
Were you getting in trouble?
Oh, yeah.
And was your dad, I know she and your dad were divorced. Did your dad?
My dad did the best he could with what he had. He was trying to like be a SEAL.
Was he in Virginia
I
Beach?
understand now.
Yeah.
You know, then I didn't. It was like, you know, I didn't understand it at all. You know, but like he was being a SEAL, like, which is important. Way more important.
Balance is a weird word when you're trying to be good at something.
Yeah, especially when you're standing up a SEAL team.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, hindsight's 2020. So, but there was a lot of pain and suffering because of the whole daddy thing.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So
you were
for
acting out for a reason, but, and it's hard for any parent to deal. We've dealt with that with our son. I always tried to say to Marcus, like, rules without a relationship equals rebellion. My therapist told me that. And so was it really a surprise looking back that our son was acting out? No, it wasn't. It would have been more of a surprise if he wasn't, because we had no relationship with him. We were just trying to put rules on him. So I think it's common for young boys to act out.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, we're talking about, you know, the formulation of vets and everything here. And I was in a not great school, you know, a not great neighborhood, you know, and I was introduced to drugs at a very young age. 4th grade, I think I smoked my first joint. 4th grade, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, I grew up on Long Island.
4th grade.
This stuff is like so over my head.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even know
4th grade.
The word
so
pot meant in 4th grade.
We screwed it up the first time we tried it. It was like they tried to stuff it into they took all the tobacco out of a cigarette, and they like, hey, I stole this from my brother, and they tried to pack it back into the cigarette
Oh boy.
So half of it ended up in the toilet anyway. But
I was playing with like tinker toys and like getting shoveled to like t-ball practice and swim practice and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, not me. I did that. And so I didn't like it. You know, I thought it was horrible. And then I grew up in a situation where I drank beer early, you know, and I like that.
Yeah.
That felt
beer was good.
That felt good, you know, until it didn't. And then, you know, around high school, you know, I did mushrooms for the first time. And that was amazing. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm connected to God here. You know, I feel like this is familiar somehow. And so that was my thing. Like mushrooms became the thing. So I've done mushrooms like a lot of times. So, but then you join the military, you don't do any of that shit. Right. So time goes on, everything's fine. War happens. Fast forward, nothing spectacular. We did a Solder City thing, but none of the stories like you hear where
everybody talking about themselves every day.
Everybody talk about, yeah. No, it's not that. It's just there's some pretty big experiences out there, man. That like there's some guys they talk is like, damn, I don't feel like I did shit.
I think we all feel.
But
like
we're in. Well, here's the thing, man. Like, and I think a lot of this is carryover from the whole survivor's guilt thing. It's like my swim buddy Mike Koch. Like it's like I had a real hard time with that. And still do from time to time because it's like there was like I always wondered if I like did enough. And it's funny this is coming up right now because this is obvious. I just did this thing down in San Diego the other day with team guys and I'm thinking back and like I'm watching people. We did a wind tunnel thing.
Mm-hmm.
I took my daughter down there, did this event, and it was an awesome event. And I'm watching these guys in the wind tunnel, and I'm like going, man, this is my first time ever in a wind tunnel, ever. Like, and I was like,
how'd that
man, I did great. I did for what it was. I haven't done that in 20 years. I haven't done anything free fall wise in over 20 years.
I just remember the first time I went in the tunnel, like from the right side, I went in and like got literally like, shot out like a cannon to the left side.
No, I actually did okay. They have a person in there that's kind of like checking you and stuff like that too. So, but it was a thing because I was like, man, this was available while I was in the teams and I never took advantage of it. And I started thinking about other things that I could have done while I was there. And I just didn't have the capacity to take advantage of, And so there was a little bit of like, man, I could have done so much better if I was like I am now. You know what I mean? I would have been such a better SEAL if I had the tools I have right now. But that ship's gone and I got a different mission now. So so now I teach people that are doing it, and hopefully someone will listen somewhere and actually do it. Because if they do, you get superpowers. You have a host of angels that will watch over you all the time. And every event becomes a confirmation of that truth. And it's an experiential one, not one that somebody's standing up on a counter telling you like, this is what is said, this is what is done, this is what he did, this is what this person does, this is what this person does, and here's how you should do it. Okay, well, how about we give you some physiological tools to actually elicit the design of the body to connect you to an experience of the truth of those words instead of just regurgitating the words of somebody else that had an experience of truth.
So what are we talking about here? Because I know what you're talking about fully.
Well, it depends. Like it's up to the listener. That's the big.
Well, initially we were talking about, because Amber, we talked about you reading words out of the Bible, you feeling a connection, but seeing the individuals that were also supposed to be reading out of this book and not really practicing what they preach. You're talking about if they are listening to what you're saying. Like, what are we talking about here?
The way this kind of works is that
what's this
message that I'm giving.
All right.
Is we start with a subject that everybody can ground themselves to. The flow of the conversation goes in a certain direction. And then you leave, this is good storytelling. You leave the interpretation up to whoever's listening to it. And it means whatever it means to them when they receive it. If they're in a certain place to receive, maybe they only clasp onto the like suicide part because this guy that's what I feel. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm feeling like right now. And this guy did it. Like, how did he do it? If I go, it was the Bible, then they're going to wind up in that kind of structure. If I go, it was the plant, then they're going to end up in that kind of structure. If I go, it's this over here, then they have to hope they find a good teacher, or if I just do a broadcast of truth, they pick and learn the teacher within themselves.
I think that's what really, for me, the last 8 years have been, is like watching people stop looking to fellow man for the answers, whether it's someone in a lab coat with a stethoscope or a psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever, like, you solve my problem for me. And they're turning inward to find the healer within themselves, to find a connection to God, to have this sort of reclaiming their power to take back their lives. That to me has been so gratifying to watch. And what I'm hearing from your childhood through your initial days in the SEAL teams, sort of this trauma culmination, but also having this really important foundation of faith and this inner wisdom that you've had since you were a child. So if we're following your life's trajectory, you come into the teams at 17. And then you spent several years as an EOD technician before you went to BUDS. Like, how long was that?
That was like 9 years. Yeah.
9 years. So how old were you when you went to BUDS?
28.
Oh, that's like pushing you were probably in BUDS with 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Painful.
But you did it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there was no choice. There's no choice. There's no choice. Like, there was never a glimmer of.
Yeah, it would have been easier if you were younger, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't. No, like I was, that was all cards on the table type of thing. It's like it took me 6 years of trying to get a package to go to BUDS to finally get to
Really?
Go. So I made it through first time, but it took me like my whole thing. I kept falling on my own sword. I kept giving EOD ammunition to like not let me go. They didn't want me to go. We had to pull some big favors.
Yeah. So once you went, there was
Force Master Chief and stuff like that.
Yeah. But once you went, that was it.
That was it. No, it was not. There was.
You're like, thank you.
I was
not
like
coming
cheering. When, like Hell Week started, I was like, yes,
let's do it.
Let's go.
And you mentioned your swim buddy, Mike Koch, who was a good buddy of Marcus's as well. One of the first couples we met in Virginia Beach when Marcus checked into SEAL Team 10 was Mike Koch. And he and Kathy, hosted us at their home, and you guys worked together. Did your first platoon together?
Yeah, I was the only new guy in that platoon, if you could believe that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then
you had a lot to do.
Oh man. Mike was a guy obviously I looked up to and tried to follow everything that he did. And we were paired together and everything we did, and
he was so talented.
And deployed together and all the fun stuff.
He came back early because he was screening for Dev Group on your second deployment or your first deployment?
First.
He and Brock, another one of your teammates, moved our entire home. It was the first time we'd moved. I didn't know what a job that was. And they were there all day long, moving us into our home while Marcus was still deployed.
But the story goes, Brock and Mike, there was a...
Brock Kelly.
There was a new guy.
We were in BUDS class together.
Oh, really?
Me, Mike, and Brock. Like, we're in the...
Well, Brock showed me how to fight.
Hi, Brock.
And swing kettlebells. Yeah. But the story goes, there was a new guy that showed up, and Brock and Mike were getting ready to go to Green Team. And they sat in the truck and just made the new guy move our whole house in.
I don't think that's true.
I mean, that's the story I was told. Maybe they moved a few things.
Busted their tails.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah. But also indicative of just who Mike was. What did Mike mean to you? Tell us a Mike story.
You ever been stung by a stingray?
One time. And only a few years ago, my foot. Yeah.
How was that for you?
I got out of the water because it hurt. And
how much did it hurt?
I mean, it hurt so much that I couldn't surf anymore. I got out and there was no lifeguards on the beach. So I snuck into the towers next to BUDS, I almost said something, and found a hot tub and put my foot in the water for 45 minutes because that's what you have to do, because the barb is in there and you need hot water, and the hot water disintegrates the barb. Yeah. It's the only way it gets out.
The venom too causes a lot of pain.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
And nobody was around.
So we're entering the surf. to go on a 2-mile ocean swim. No, it was the 3-mile. And
I know where this is going.
Yeah.
It sucks for you.
No.
For him.
For him. Yeah. So this is just how hard he was. So this thing hits him and he's like, oh, I was like, what's wrong with you, dude? He's like, oh, he pulls it up and there's blood coming out of his booty.
Yeah.
And then I pull it back and like, it went through his, like right behind the Achilles, the Achilles tendon. It went through that space between the Achilles tendon there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, bro, he goes, it's a stingray. I was like, that's going to suck, man. And he goes, and he looks back at the beach. I was like, we going back? And he's like, fuck it. And he just kept going, dude. He was like, he just kept going. It sucks real bad. So, yeah, I got a buddy of mine that said it. He goes, dude, because I got hit. I took my daughter to the beach and got hit by one. Like,
wow, and when really everybody hears about it, they're like, oh, yeah, it's a little crab bite. No. I'm like, no, that's a reason why at the Center Beach in Coronado, there's every day, if you go to the beach, there's like 6 or 7 people sitting there at the lifeguard stand with their foot in hot water because it's painful. I mean, it's excruciating pain. Yeah.
Anyway, he's a good dude. I remember we were out doing a land nav course in SEAL tactical training, and I fell off the 80-foot rappel tower.
Oh,
not fell off it, but like,
yeah.
The instructors go, "You're good at rappelling, right?" And I go, "Yeah."
You've done this before.
You've done this before. Here, they give me these welder's gloves, super thick welder's gloves. Pulled all the slack out. You got to understand it. I was like 240 pounds, like, and we're going through the hellhole. And so it was, they pulled all this slack out and I'm going dynamic and just like boom, bouncing down to the bottom, dropping it. Okay, cool. What else you got? And they go, okay. And they pull all this slack out and I go through and the slack, I skim through the hellhole and the slack grabbed my arm and I lost the brake. Right. But I'd been going so fast, the belay manager's like, looking, and I just fucking boom. I hit so hard this orange jelly came out of my nose.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? And I'm like, tore my meniscus in my
I was about to say, did you break anything?
I'm going to diagnose you with a concussion.
That's what the corpsman said.
Did you break anything?
I don't know. But I don't think so. But I didn't ever find out because this is the knee that like,
did you get that fixed?
No. I got stem cells 2 years ago.
There you go.
Corpsman comes up and he's like, what knee is it? And I go, it's this one. And it's the opposite knee, the one that didn't hurt. And he starts bending and I'm like tapping into those actor skills. And he goes, And he grabs the other one and he starts doing the other one. And I'm like sweating like, and he's like, okay, dude. He goes, look, take the roll because you're going to get out to the island and you're going to have to do third phase all over again. It's going to be horrible. Like, just take the roll now. Cause it was at the beginning of third phase.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I'm good. He goes, okay, get up there, fast roping next.
Yeah. You're like, no, I can't.
And I was like, no, I went around the corner. I was like, okay. My hands were super hot on that first one, dude. I was like, going all the way down. We start walking off, and there's a very long story to lead this up, but you have to understand, my knee hurt. So I was paying out in town to get it injected and everything every night and costing a whole bunch of money, private, like doctor, like just doing the thing. And back then I was class 224 and you had to pass that. Otherwise you get kicked out, right? Like you had to pass your land nav stuff. So I don't know. Do they still have to pass their land nav?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Probably do by GPS. I mean, I don't know. Like
I'm sure they got, I don't know. But anyway, it's like the 4th day or something like that. We were fine the first couple of days. And then like I started slowing down and he's like, dude, we're not going to make it. Like it was the 2-man. And he's like, you got to like, and so what we started doing is we started switching And what are you supposed to do in buds? Not be 6 feet apart, right? Or a safety violation, especially during land nav and all these types of things. So we start taking turns. And like, so he'd rest, I'd go to the top and I'd get the point and I'd come and bring it back down and he'd do it. And then that started.
Yeah, because they put the boxes at the very top.
At the very top of the peak.
Oh, man.
Yeah, at the very top of the peak. And then that started slowing down. And he goes, look, dude, it was our test. And on our test, I was like, I was in a lot of pain. I was doing my best. I wasn't stopping. It was just like I was slow.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, dude, let me go get this one. And I was like, you got the last one. And I was like, it's my turn. He's like, dude, just let me go get this. He goes, just don't leave this spot. And I was like, dude, I'm not cool with this. And he's like, and he goes off on me a little bit, talking to me. He's like, what is it about you? He goes, what is it about you? What do you think that like people think you're weak? We all watched you auger in from 80 feet, get up and run. Like, dude, let me go get the damn point. And I'm like, okay, go get the point. And he goes, just don't leave this spot. And I go, and I'm sitting there. He goes up. I see him go up into the trees. I'm sitting there. Hour goes by. 2 hours goes by. I'm starting to like, I'm like,
is it night?
It's starting to get night. And, 3 hours later, it's starting to get night. He comes up through the bush from this direction. I'm like, dude,
where were you?
What the fuck? He goes, dude, I went and got all the points. Let's go. You got to go. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay. He goes, but you got to go. Like we got like 15 minutes. And so we're sprinting down this hill, and eating shit. I'm eating shit, of course. And, we made it, but that's the type of guy he was and that's significant. And I know I took a long editors be magic. So what's important about this is because you asked about Mike, and it's important that everybody understands the full story, because in buds, if he would have got caught being that far away from me, we both would have been kicked out. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No.
That's a major, major safety violation, right? And that's the type of guy he was. And it is the first experience in my life where somebody took their dream and placed it on the line for me, for us. But like, it was like either we're both making it or like,
I mean, that's what you learn in the team, right? Like that's the
ultimate.
That's all of it. Like
that's the whole thing.
If you summed up the brotherhood, like that is all it. You don't ever have to talk about anything else. Yeah.
And that's the way and it kind of like, so when he got killed in Iraq, it was.
Yeah, it was tough for everybody.
Marcus, I think you were with the group that went to Catholic.
Yeah, we went and notified Mike's grandparents. That was tough. I'll never forget that day.
Yeah, I bet. And so at the time, I had my own shit going on at that time. That's where things started to really start going south for me around that time. And
2007.
Yeah. Like that was after my second deployment to Iraq. And it was weird because it was like, how does somebody that talented get wrecked and I'm still here? And that was hard. That was really hard for me. I understand now why I'm still here. But at the time I didn't. It was like, I don't deserve to be here, but he did in my head.
Yeah.
And so there was this kind of guilt for like I didn't do enough, and that like death would only be like, that was the only thing that would be good enough.
And I think a lot of people,
or at least being tested like that, like I never, lots of firefights. Yeah. I mean, there was stuff, but it wasn't like, well, I guess there was stuff. I don't know, but when you compare it to other people's stories, it just doesn't seem as cool.
No, but I think everybody has the same feelings, like what you were thinking, right? It's always like, why him? Why not me?
Did you find yourself mad at God?
Never. I don't get mad at God.
I think that, those years were really difficult to understand, difficult to process. I will never forget the loss of Mike. And that was sort of the beginning of the spiraling for us as well. And I want to come back to that because Mike and Mikal and the whole connection there. But before we get there, Mikal Vega has not always been your name.
No.
And one of my favorite games to play with people who know you is describe Hooch in one word. And it's been everything from like intense to straight up like demonic.
Yeah.
And
Ben wouldn't go to your Sunday class when I told him who was teaching it. He's like, wait.
he was like afraid of you.
He's like, wait, what are you talking about? He's like, you're talking about Hooch. I'm like, well, that's the old guy. I was like, it's Mikal. I was like, and you have to go because it's going to change your life.
Which he did, and it did
And he
change.
was like, he's like, I can't. I remember the conversation because Ben's like one of my best friends. He's like, I can't. I don't get it. He's like, you don't understand. I'm like, I don't have to understand. I don't care. Just go. It doesn't matter. And he showed up. That was the best part.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. But
So
that's funny.
I want to
man.
talk
it was
about
the best.
I want to talk about that a little bit because you are so different now. Like so different. How?
You want to know why I'm different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm different because I'm more of who I really am. You're just seeing who I really am versus who I wanted everybody to see me as.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was so like, what do you do? Like you become a monster so that like people leave you alone. That's what I was comfortable with. Like I told you about my childhood, I was used to being alone. You know, so you create a persona that makes people leave you alone.
Mm.
You know, but respect you at the same time.
We were all a bit of monsters, right? Like I almost feel like we were like a tribe of monsters operating.
Well, here's the
together.
thing. We're there. Some of us are actually monsters.
Yeah.
Some of us have to be monsters, but don't want to be.
Mm.
I think I was in that camp.
Yeah.
I wanted to be okay with who I really was while I did it, and it just didn't seem like it would work. I guess. I don't know. Or like people attack it. Like when you start showing who you really are in the teams, people attack it.
Yeah, what do you mean you don't drink?
Like what?
What do you mean?
I remember someone said he doesn't drink. You can't. I can't trust him.
How
I'm
he's going to be part of this?
What? He's too much of a family man. I don't know about that guy. Like,
I mean,
what?
Yeah,
so backwards.
Somebody the other day on a podcast was talking about, hey, don't. It was a.
I think it's changing a bit.
It's definitely changing. I talked to a guy the other day at Dev Group, said his whole squadron doesn't drink, and I was like, come again? This was a Brit.
The whole squadron?
He said, yeah. He's like, nobody really drinks anymore. I was like, seriously? He's active there. He's a SBS
that
guy.
was the culture.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like, yeah, we don't even really go out anymore. We don't drink anymore. And I was like, wow, I'm impressed. I mean, it's just different times.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's good though.
Yeah, it's
Completely
completely
good. I bet you
good.
they're better.
No, that's what I told him.
bet you they're better.
I told him, I said, hey, what you don't realize is you guys are actually better, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it.
I bet you they're better.
Go do a Friday Monster Mash or a CrossFit workout with 8 or 9 hours sleep, sober.
But are they having as much fun?
I don't know. That was my next thing. It was like, you guys having fun though? Like, so great. You wake up and you just beat every world record in CrossFit. But I promise you, the night before, I had a good time.
Like,
I had fun with the boys.
More fun as SEALs than we did. I don't know.
And I used to compete pretty well.
I do
hungover.
like hearing that the culture is changing. That's definitely long overdue, I
But can you
think.
trust them?
But what I've always really, what I've always really respected about your generation in particular was that there was no 9/11 when you guys came in. Marcus's class graduated. He was class 236. So you were probably a year or two ahead of him.
First and last hardest class. Everybody knows it.
But he graduated BUD/S in October of 2001. So very similar timeline from when you were going through buds and going to your first SEAL team, there was no war. And then bam, suddenly there's a war and you just have to adapt. And I think that that's got to be difficult.
I was relieved.
Really?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean,
like,
I think.
I was like,
yeah.
Let's go.
I think everyone
Let me
was,
go
yeah.
get this angry out of me.
But,
you know,
as opposed to, I think those who signed
it was
up
more,
to serve.
it wasn't, that wasn't a great way to say that. There was part of that for sure. That was true. But it was more like, let me go find out if I'm really who I think I am.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm tired of practicing.
Yeah.
Let me go find out. I think I know how I'll be in combat.
Yeah.
Let me go. I finally get to go find out. Let me go find out. Like it was kind of like becoming a man. I don't know. Like becoming a real man, real warrior.
You'll laugh.
That's a good way to say it.
Real warrior.
Like, finally doing. Think about it. Like if you go to like 9 years of medical school to be a neurosurgeon, or
and never get to practice.
Never get to perform surgery.
No, I would say
to
like
operate.
It's like football. Imagine practicing for 10 years, Monday through Friday, and never getting to like actually play a game on Saturday, Sunday. It would be, you would never know how you would perform.
Yeah, you don't know if you can really do the thing.
It was definitely a crazy set of years. And I feel like because there hadn't been a time of war, an extended time of war, there was a lack of preparation on how to best serve you guys and keep you in the fight. And Mikal, you said something very poignant that I've never forgotten about warrior cultures. What can you share about, the reset that warrior cultures throughout time?
Oh yeah. I do remember this.
Yeah.
It was profound.
Here, it's a very ironic situation. There's two big ones, like that, big observations that I've come to grips with over the years. First one being that a lot of the elite warfighting cultures in today's military all model themselves against historical warriors, the Spartans, the Indians, the Vikings, whatever, like whatever that squadron's kind of thing is, or that military unit's thing is that they embody the ethos that was developed through years of warfare, like throughout time, right? But when you look at those societies, those warrior societies, and how they engaged in spirituality in relationship to developing their martial prowess, it's innate and embedded into their culture. It's not something they just go do on Sundays.
Because maybe one person does it or two people do it, but that is the culture.
That's part of the program. It's a part of the program. It's all encompassing. It's the warrior ethos is what it is.
The Israelis, when I went over to train with the Shayatet, the Israeli SEALs, they said, Marcus, the U.S. military is by far, like, we can't touch what you guys do. Your training, your just everything you do is number one globally. However, you guys suck at helping guys transition out of the military. They told me this. They said, it's built within our culture here in Israel. Like, we all serve in some capacity. It's just built in. Like, we don't need philanthropy to go help a person transition out. And that's why we struggle so much here in the US, where in Israel, it's part of their warrior culture. They're born there, they fight, they're constant on guard from being attacked from, every which way around their country. They serve, whether it's in the military or public service. And then when they're done, they also help each other transition out. It's just part of the warrior culture there, which we don't have. And
well,
you're talking
I think
about,
that there's a step before that, though, before the transition out. Like, how can you keep someone in the fight? And that's, I think, what you're saying is that by having these opportunities.
I cut you off. I want you to talk about the warrior culture and
so
go ahead.
So we model ourselves against these warrior cultures throughout time. And what modern military mindsets have done is they've removed the spiritual aspect that they modeled themselves after those very warrior cultures against. So it's like they embody the ethos of, let's say, the Spartans, but they remove all of the meditative practice, the spiritual practice, the samurai. Like they model themselves after the accuracy and the discipline, but not the to focus the internal, to balance the destructive and creative forces within themselves. They don't engage the creative side. They engage and develop the destructive side. And when they unleash that on the battlefield, what happens? Great success. They steamroll things with all of those years of destructive power. But then when those warfighters come home and there's no more enemy, that energy's still there. So what are they going to do with it?
Yeah. What do you do?
They create an enemy within themselves, and all that destructive force turns inward. And that's what's happening.
To us.
That's what's happening to all of us.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. A warrior's path engages that creative side to balance the destruction, to become neutral and just ride that razor's edge between destructive and creative, drawing power from both and becoming not twice as powerful, but infinite. And that's why they can do what they do. That's where and here's the thing, here's the catch, is you don't have to do it on the battlefield because you're very much engaged in a war right now. And it's a war for control of your subconscious mind. And if you don't have a system for ascertaining truth from, you got to understand, every data point, every point of information that's being sent out has an agenda. We have to develop a sophisticated awareness system so that we know what if that piece of information with that agenda is in alignment with my destiny. And if you don't have that, then guess what can happen? Well, you become the CNN ticker that's like broadcasting, what you saw on the news today. And you're become this automaton of, the reproduction of falsehoods.
What was that word you just used?
Automaton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's over my head. And I get all the schooling in the world. I have 2 graduate degrees, and I don't know what the fuck that means. That's why you're the teacher.
Brother, the only thing I have is my experiences. That's all we all have. At the end of the day, that's all we have. And our realities are predicated upon the quality of our interpretations of the experiences that we've had. How do we increase the quality of our interpretations of our perceptions of those experiences? Practice. And there's a lot of different types of practices. The practice that I use is a lineage of meditation that is developed by thousands of years of warrior discipline that has completely changed my reality. And so I teach it. So I've been teaching it. And my teacher is a master, and his name's Hari Jivan. And he has shown me how to experience truth, not interpret truth, not understand truth, but experience it. And that's where I said I'd come back to this. From that place, I read the Bible. Having experienced truth, I read the Bible, and then I understand it differently. I can feel how it aligns to me physically, spiritually, and mentally. And it's a resonance. And I can feel the power of the word vibrate through me. And then that vibration through me creates a certain reality that I'm perceiving in my day-to-day life that affects other people, does it not? Like I'm interfacing with the other people. I'm creating things that are globally disseminated with a team. That's the whole point. And so you made a statement earlier. You said something about trauma.
Like looking outward to fix their.
No, it was this trauma, like how people have these traumas and everything that happen to them. There's only 2 types of people. There's the people, and you can change the type of person you are. That's the good news. Most people aren't aware of this, but there's only 2 types of people. There's the type of people that things happen for, and there's the type of people that things happen to. Which one are you? The person that things happen for, it's who I am now. That's why I don't get angry at God, is because I have always understood that there's a plan ever since that deer. It was like, I'll never do that again. I won't ever think about it again. And I don't, I will never do that. My problems manifested in different ways. But that's why I never get mad, because I know that there's a plan. I know that there's something great that's coming from this. And the countless people that I've been able to help using this system is just the beginning.
Well, and I think
it's like
we're sitting here with you because of all of that. And I tend to look at life exactly the same. I wouldn't trade one of our bad days for anything. I wouldn't trade all of our bad days for anything, because it's led us into the work that we're doing now. And it was necessary. Like, it had to get that bad. And when I see you, interact with you, hear you talk now, the perception of you from the past doesn't even compute to me. Sure. It's not, you're not even the same person, which also piggybacks off of our episode with Dr. Kirk Parsley, where he said that when you came into his office this sort of transformation, he thought that it would be the first murder-suicide in NSW history, because he was like almost afraid of you. Like, your countenance was so different. And then he met you months or years later again, and you had to literally introduce yourself to him because you were so different. So how bad did things get? And tell us about that turnaround, which then we'll get into how our lives have been affected by that.
And then I want to get into what you're talking about, the meditation and the practice you're talking about.
Yeah, of
because
course.
You were going there.
Yeah. What's the question?
How bad did things get?
And
oh man,
everything's working together for a reason.
Well, yeah, that shit didn't feel like it at the time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, when I said I didn't get mad at God, that's true. But that did not mean I didn't get mad. You can't even call it mad. Like, it was fury. There's a number of things that transpired. After my second deployment to Iraq, I came back. I couldn't sleep for 4 days at a pop. Like, literally, I couldn't sleep. I was a platoon chief now, and we were working up for,
what year was
for
this?
another, I don't know, 2007, 2000, ish, 2007-ish, we'll call it. Head trauma.
I know, those years are a blur for us too.
I had to take emergency custody of my son because he was abused by his mother. And, she had her own experiences that she was working through. And my son took some heavies. So we took emergency custody. He lived with us till he was 18 and then moved out. So there was that. I was fighting legal battles to try to keep him despite the situation. And that was infuriating. It made no sense to me whatsoever. How's this system that we're upholding, like, trying to take my kid from me and give him to somebody that's mentally ill? And made no sense to me after they abused him, so I was like having a hard time.
And then they told me, the height of the war too, by the way.
This is, we had done a lot, 2004 to 2007 was my time over there, and then on and off. And so coming back from that, it was like, okay. And then they appoint a representative for the child in any of these types of cases. And she was like, so what do you, they were going to put my son in a home if I deployed again. And so I was like, okay, I was at this crossroads of like, what was I going to do? I had to pick between two families, literally. Like SEAL teams are a family. Let's just call it what it is. At least it is to me, especially to me. I grew up in that. It was like, for me, it was like everything I always wanted
And you're a platoon chief, which is
And I'm a
also,
platoon chief, and I had guys like not go on that cycle to Dam Neck because I was going to be the platoon chief because they wanted to deploy with me again. You know, like that says something.
Yeah, that's a tough decision.
After they'd already been in combat with me, it was a chicken egg thing for me. It was like I was a platoon chief, and I did the combat thing as a chief, and then I took another platoon chief's half his platoon, and I was their chief for that deployment for all the combat ops. Then I came back and I had to do the official platoon chief thing to be able to do the senior chief thing. So for the record, I never made senior chief, but probably a good thing. But I had that. Then my house got destroyed and I'm fighting 3 insurance companies, none of which wanted to pay because I knew I was out of whack. I knew I wanted to get heavy into my creativity. And so I paid these people to come in and redo my place. I'm thinking from the combat fog thing. I was like, $75,000 for this. It sounds good, right? It's
like all the money we had at the time.
It's all the money we had. So I was like, that sounds like good, right? Like, and I asked him, I go, hey man, I might not be thinking right. Is it cool to like, I just need to ask you, like, am I making a good call here? I showed him all my numbers and everything. I was like, I might not be thinking right. He's like, no, dude, you're good. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is the people selling me this stuff. Yeah. So like that judgment alone.
Gonna say no.
That judgment alone is like, I'm asking
you're asking the vendor if you want.
I'm asking the vendor if I should buy this or not. I was too trusting. So they did the thing. And then while these contractors were installing a sink, they flooded out the whole place for like 12 hours while I was at the team. And so I had to live in a hotel for the next year while I'm in a workup.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And nobody wanted to pay. Like none of the insurance companies, well, it's their fault. It's these people. And while I'm in a custody battle. And I can't sleep for 4 days at a pop. So like things are starting, the pressure cooker's like climbing up and I'm in a workup. And then they tell me that like they're going to put my son in a home. So now I have to go and have the hard talk with the command master chief and be like, hey, this is what's going on. And he's like, well, what are you going to do? And I go, well, I think I'm going to have to take a shore duty billet somewhere. And I'd never taken shore duty. Like I'd been in 17 years.
No shore duty.
I had never had shore duty.
I know a few guys like you.
Yeah. I never had shore duty. And so I just had the hard talk with the platoon and became the ops chief for about 6 months while everybody deployed. And I made my way over to the West Coast. Once I got to the West Coast, his mother followed us. My son's mother followed us over here, and we had to deal with all of that as we kept trying to build things together and make it work. It was really challenging because when I came to the West Coast, they always have that East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing. And I never bought into it, man, because I was deployed with West Coast guys and they were awesome. Like they were fantastic.
West Coast guys never understood it. When I went out there, I remember talking to the guys in first phase. They were like, we don't understand why you guys are always talking about us because we never talk about you. That really hit. It said, all right, why are we talking shit so much?
Well, I found out why. So
I remember them saying
I've got examples.
Like, we don't know why you guys talk stuff. Like, we don't ever talk. We don't have enough time to talk about you guys on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm like, huh.
So we're the ones that are wrong. I had a lot of fantastic interactions with the guys I was deployed with. It was fantastic. I had good jobs.
No, let's be real. Like it's great across the board. That's just a friendly rivalry.
Yeah. But I went to the West Coast and I was at Bud's and I had a challenging time there. I was not any chief's dream candidate, that's for sure.
You were angry.
That does not begin to cover it. But I was dark is what I was. I was dark. I was super dark. And I just wanted to kill bad people. That's what I wanted to do. I felt like that was my purpose.
And so you took that out on everybody, everything, all life.
I didn't mean to, So they put me on the island.
Let's keep him away from everybody.
Let's put him on the island.
He can't.
That's where
he can't kill too many things out there.
So, but it was never like any innocence or anything. Like it was never like crazy shit. It was always like I saw bad people doing bad things and getting away with it, and I wanted to do something about it, and that's all.
You were also stuck in a set of circumstances that you really had not a lot of control over, which had to be frustrating as well. And then, of course, there were not the support mechanisms in place at the time to support you guys in transitions like this.
Here's the thing, though. Like, and this is another thing. Like, it's like we have this perpetuation of we don't have a system to take care of people when they come out. Sure, that's legit and everything, but the guys in World War II didn't have that either. And they're like the greatest generation.
They are, but I mean, what's the data say?
Yeah,
what does it actually say?
They just white knuckled their way through 100%. The entire.
I think so. I mean, you hear about all these guys now. Like the stories are coming out now about how this uncle and that grandfather, and you never talk to this grandfather because he was angry as shit for a reason, and that uncle was angry. We don't, and when you start looking back and go, oh, I get it now. These folks came back. Some of them probably busted, but some not also.
Yeah, but were they killing themselves? What are the numbers on suicide?
I don't know.
Well, there probably weren't.
I don't know.
Well, there definitely were not SSRIs either, which have a clear warning label of suicidality on the side of the
bottle.
bottle.
We weren't getting prescribed. We weren't getting overprescribed.
There
also.
we go.
I mean, there was a mixture of everything.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was on like 13 different medications.
I was with you on that one.
I was on 13 different medications while I was going through all this shit. And then I was on the island and I was coming off the bird and I just started going tits up. Yeah, boom. I hit the deck. You don't know about this?
I don't know this.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm sitting there. It's the weekend. It's the last flight. Like there's no flight off on the weekend. So I'm laying there. And I remember just feeling like finally, and again, it's God. I'm like, finally, let's go, and all the students came up and they're like, holy shit, Chief, you're gray. And I'm like, they're like, what do you want? I was like, they go, what's going on? I was like, I'm dying, you fucking idiot. And he's like, well, what do you want us to do? And I was like, nothing, I'm good. Like, it was like, I was good. And so I laid there, I don't know how long, just kind of waiting, and I didn't die. That sucked.
It sucked. Wait, it sucked that you were laying there or that you didn't die or just all of it?
Sure. So
usually most normal people don't talk about or talk like this. So
the whole thing sucked. I was like, damn it, I'm still stuck on this planet.
You're still stuck here in this skin and
spinning rock.
Stuff. Yeah.
But I'm like, okay. So I get up and I remember they think it was like a pharmaceutically induced cardiac arrest is what they think it was. Yeah. So minor one or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, I went and laid in my rack and I remember I just, it was good because I just got this intense rage about all these hours I was spending over at Balboa, all these pills they had me on, all these different systems of like, try this, try this, try this, try this. And it was like, I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing any of this shit anymore. And so I started getting off those pills on my own, and don't do that. Like, find somebody to support you, because that's when things really started getting crazy.
So here's a black box warning. If you are on antidepressants or a bunch of mood stabilizers and other things, do not come off them cold turkey at all.
I tapered over a week.
Do as we say, not as we do.
So that things really started getting crazy then. And
so we're still in the transition here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I went back to the command and I was like, you're probably, and thank God for the CMC at the time. He saved my ass, because I was like, I can't go do this anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm not going over to the Navy anymore, over at Balboa and doing this. I'm done. I got to do something else. I got to go. I got to figure shit out. And he goes, okay, I want you to go try this. I want you to just take a breath, go up here, go do this. And, let me know how this goes. And it was like this trauma release exercise thing that we were doing. And I became an instructor in that. And it worked. I had a hard time getting into it, but it worked for a lot of people. And I did have some benefit, but while I was there, more importantly, while I was there, I heard somebody talking in the corner and I heard Master Shaman. And I was like, huh? And I go, what was that? What is that? Master Shaman what? Out of Peru? Yeah. Ayahuasca. I want to do that. I'm doing that. Let's go. What's going on? We're going. Wait, you're in the Navy. I don't care. I'm going. What are we doing?
I love this.
And it was like,
it's so typical.
And they go, okay, this is the shaman. And I went, and this guy is the master shaman, or at the time he is the master shaman of this. I think it was like 260,000 square miles of virgin Amazonian rainforest. And like he was the protector of it. And so you go in there, you paddle up the Amazon 2 hours to do this.
No, this is real.
Like, this is real deep.
This is
like
real.
you're committed. And then you had the option to stay there for a month.
You're not getting off a flight, going to a nice hotel, getting the umbrella drink and yeah.
So that was revelatory, obviously. And I'm not going to get into the whole the what happened during the event. Bottom line was the cliff notes is I saw this energy inside of everybody, with my eyes closed. So I had a blindfold on, and I could see this energy, and I was like, I could see these dots like connecting everything.
What are we doing? What are we doing down there? Like what's
ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca, got it.
Okay. So and I could see this energy connecting everything, and it was like this. Think of it like ant trails, right? But none of it it didn't cross. They didn't cross, but I could see through my third eye all of this, and I'm like going. And I'm peeking out from behind the blind, and that's what they're doing. Like, so some person's over here doing this, and I'm like looking over here, and it's I'm oh my gosh, I could see with my eyes closed. Like I was like, this is incredible.
You're with a group of people.
Yeah, there's a group, like 40 people.
Yep.
So, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Like I could see. And ayahuasca is different because, like, especially with this guy, because he's a master. He's like everything you need. If this is your first time, everything you need is within you. You do not need this plant. This plant, we only use a little bit of it so that it just opens a space, but you got to go through still under your own power. And if you're not seeing that space open, come up and you can have some more. And it was like, okay. I, of course, went back up.
Of course.
And each time, every time. Like, all of it. Give me all of it.
You never pass. You never say no. There's only on and off, right?
All or none.
DJ will say there's dials and switches, and I like the dial because we can dial it up and dial it down, but there's also part of us that is just on or off.
That's right. So the big piece is that I saw this energy going up the center of everybody, and I was like, and it was going out into everything that they contacted. I was like, what was that? Like what? It was real. That's the biggest thing. It was real. Was it real to me, or was it real? I can get esoteric here, but like, it's like, that was a real experience of something other than what I've been programmed to think was real. So time goes on. I come back from that. I start doing like yoga. I'm doing like all these kinds of. It's men who stare at goats. Is what's happening.
You felt something that was so profound that you had to explore more and say, this is
not with the plant, but like doing what he told me. I like learning how to meditate. Yeah. Like I didn't know how to meditate. Like nobody had ever shown me how to meditate. Like what do I do with my breath? Well, how do I No, nobody's told me any of this. And so I wound up in a Bikram Yoga thing and did that for a while. But I still had this like blackness in me. And it was like, I'm like, okay, well, I kept seeing this person's face, like in the meditations, in the yoga, and all these things. I'm like, I kept seeing this person's face. And then I see a picture, and I see a picture one day, and I'm like, who's that? Like I ask him, like I was at an acupuncturist. I'm at acupuncture. I tried out acupuncture. I'd never done it, and that was great too, and so did acupuncture, and I was like, wait, who's that? And it was this guy sitting there on this like tiger rug or something like this. And she goes, oh, that's Paramahansa Yogananda. And I was like, okay, who's Paramahansa?
Yeah, I couldn't even pronounce it.
And she goes, well, here, take this book, read this book, Autobiography of a Yogi. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, take this book too, Way of the Peaceful Warrior. If you haven't read it, you should read it.
Okay.
So if you haven't read it, you should read it.
I haven't read it.
So if you haven't read it, you should read it. And The Alchemist. You should also read that. If you haven't read that, that's a very good book. You should read it. And so I read it and I learn about, okay, Paramahansa Yogananda was this, it was this master of these Kriya Yoga. And I'm like, okay, where is this taught? And so I started looking at the Self-Realization Foundation, and the more I started looking at it, I was kind of like, can we just do the yogas? Like, can I just do the yogas, or I got to wear the robes? So,
it's a little weird for me. Like, I want to learn, but like, why do I have to dress in white?
I'm yoga curious. I'm not really wanting to go deep diving into this yet. And so I didn't, they started sending me the things, and they go, here, like you can do this. It's basically a mail order course where they send you the introductory stuff to prepare yourself for actually doing the yoga. And I was like, okay. And this is like books, like it wound up being a book like this thick of like these mail things. And I'm like, I got to do all of this to do the thing. Nah. And so I went on about my time, and I go, and then I started seeing about, I saw this energy going up the spine, like this energy picture that I was attracted to. And I'm like, what is this picture? What is this? And they go, that's the Kundalini. And I was like, what's the Kundalini? And they go, that's the energy that resides, it's the source of your creative power that resides at the base of your spine. And through practice, you can raise it up to experience the truth of God. And I'm like, that sounds cool. What do we got to do? Well, it's a lot of breath work. It's a lot of chanting. It's a lot of this and a lot of prayer. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, how do we do that? And that's where it got weird. Come to my garage and we'll teach you how to do it. And I'm like, okay. Came to the garage and I was like, I'm going to leave now. And so I left, and I wound up in LA a little while later, not too much longer. I was medically discharged from the Navy. Went up to LA. I'm doing voice coaching, and I'm hearing this woman's voice, and it's like this angelic presence. And I'm like going, oh my gosh, this woman's voice is like angels. And she comes out, and I was like, do you have like albums or something that like, because that was incredible. It was like I was listening to the heavens. She goes, oh, that's mantra. That's mantra that I was chanting. And I was like, sign me up. That sounded awesome. And she goes, yeah, I'm a Kundalini Yoga teacher. I was like, oh. I was like, yeah, I tried that down in San Diego and it got really weird. And she goes, well, what were you doing? I was like, I don't want to talk about it. And she laughed and she goes, well, you should come to a class. And I was like, And she goes, it's at the yoga studio. And I was like, oh, you have a studio?
Not a garage.
Not a garage.
Yeah.
And she goes, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And then I go to this class and I go in there and it's like really cool vibe. I was like, okay, this is relaxing. I sit down there and like we do this thing and it's hard, real hard. And I'm like, holy shit. Like my whole body is like shaking and everything. And they go, okay, you're done. Bah. Lay down. We're going to do the gong. And I go, okay. I lay down. They start playing the gong. And when the gong's properly played, it's not like crash.
Yeah, you played it for us at the Marriott in Coronado, and it was like, I think the whole hotel was connected.
Yeah. It's if you do it right, then like it mimics the sound of the cosmos. If you've ever heard like the recordings of NASA that they've taken the electromagnetic vibration of the cosmos and they've put it into sound.
Like just the sound of the universe.
It's the sound of the universe. So it sounds exactly like that.
Is that?
I
don't know why I asked you that.
I don't know. Let's save that for the scientists.
I get it.
I just experience things that work, and then I try to regurgitate them so somebody else can experience it. But the thing is I'm laying there, and then the gong's playing, and it was like this lid opened on the top of my head. It literally felt like a lid went and opened, and like all this cool wind started blowing through my body, and I'm like, oh. And this person comes up and whispers in my ear, you're going to spread this energy across the globe. And I'm like, motherfucker. Because it scared the shit out of me.
Did you yell?
Yes.
Like, did you actually say that?
Yes. And everybody's like, ah. And I'm like, and nobody's there. Nobody was there.
Oh, nobody was there.
Nobody was there.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, sorry.
This is Santa Monica.
Back in. No, this is LA.
Oh, excuse me. This is LA.
This is LA. So I'm laying there now, and then I'm like, okay, this is it. This is it. Like I went up afterwards. I couldn't drive for like 3 hours after I was done. I was like, hey, what do I got to do to learn how to teach this? Like you got a teacher training coming up. I need to learn how to teach this. And she goes, you don't want to come here to go to teacher training. I go, I don't. She goes, no, you want to go see Hari Jivan. She might have even done the finger thing like that.
Excuse me. This
isn't the yoga you're looking for.
Yeah. Amber's not getting that, but I am.
It's a Star Wars thing.
So it's the Force.
She goes, you want to go see Hari Jivan? And I was like, I want to go see Hari Jivan. All right, where's Hari Jivan? And she goes, he's teaching at this place on Wednesday. I go in, everybody's got turbans on. And I'm like, what?
You're like, I'm not sure how to act right now.
I just sat in the back of the room with my back to the wall, like any good team guy, sitting in the corner with my back to the wall. And up comes the teacher. You could tell. I was like, oh yeah, that's got to be the dude. That's him. You've seen Hari Jivan. Yeah. You look at him and you're like, oh, that's the dude. Mm-hmm. That's the dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the guru. So he sits down and he's like, oh, right? And I'm like, oh, you could feel it. I'm like, oh, whoa. And then he goes, breath of fire like this, and you do the thing. He stops and he looks at me and he goes, you'll spread this energy across the globe. Never met him before in my life. And then I'm like, right? And it's just like, yeah. And that was the start of the whole thing, because from there, I just studied and studied and studied. I went deep. And I've been teaching it ever since. Went to teacher training right away, like a month after I started. Went to level 2 teacher training actually, and then did the level 1 afterwards, kind of like my platoon chief spot.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. No,
I did the workup after the deployment. And it's been revelatory, and I cannot stress enough that it's the reason, a lot of this has happened is so that we can propagate it. And as you know, we teach it at vets on the weekends, and the guys, we just made 2 teachers. Did you know that?
Really?
I didn't know that. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
So 2 of the guys were there was Hari Jivan was doing a teacher training. They've been practicing for a long time through the weekend class that I do for vets. And I was like, okay, Vital Warrior will sponsor you to go through teacher training. So we did.
That's awesome.
Vital Warrior is a nonprofit that I run, which is a nice dovetail into how all this happened for you, right?
Yeah, I would love to pick up there. So to tie everything together, you just decided, I've had enough. I'm searching for answers that are not available in Western medicine. You find yourself in the jungles of Peru, you come back, you're doing your Kundalini, just sort of the path is unfolding in front of you. And at some point along the way, you've transitioned out of the military altogether. But while you were in the military, Dr. Kirk Parsley was providing your care or did some level of medical oversight. And that's where we get connected. Just could you briefly...
So here's how that went.
Yeah.
So I would go into Kirk like once or twice a week to just, I don't even remember what the hell we were doing. Oh, he was helping me work on my body, like, because I had a lot of injury shit.
He was like a medical officer for the West Coast teams.
And so between him and Dr. Poderat, Dr. Poderat was the combat medical or the combat psychologist for the entire West Coast. Phenomenal. He was like, psychiatry, the pills in psychiatry never have an exit strategy. There's never an exit strategy. They get you on them and then, so he's still a good friend. But Kirk is also still a good friend. And he I could see what you mean about like, I'm sure he'll talk about it, but I remember I to put it in context, I spent a lot of hours in his office. He knew me better than most people, between him and Poderat and what was going on inside. It's like, guys, like, I'm having a real hard time holding this together. I'm telling you, like, it's just one spark's going to set this fucker off. I think it was 2012. I was medically discharged and I moved up to LA. I had to come back to San Diego like 6 months to a year later or something like that. There was some time that passed. And so there was an event, it was an NSW event at a place down in San Diego. And I saw Kirk and I was like, hey, dude, what's going on, man? And he's like, hey, what's up?
He said he went with it for a while.
He went with it for an hour. With it for an hour. He's like, hey, dude, what's going on?
I do that sometimes with Amber. I'm like, who is that?
And we're sitting there and talking and he's like, he stops and he goes, man, I'm really sorry, man. I can't pretend anymore. I cannot place you. Who are you? And I'm like,
you're like, really, dude?
I was like,
you're a friend?
I don't know whether or not to be offended right
punch
now.
You. Yeah.
And I go, it's Hooch. And he's like, you should have seen it. I'll never forget his face. You hear like, I'll never forget his face. But like, I'll literally never forget his face because he just went, he had this really bewildered, like,
wish I was there.
Look on his face. He's like, what? And I go, yeah. He goes, what are you doing? Like, what?
Yeah. Bring that here.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where Vital Warrior was born.
Yeah. But would it, like, because all of it. Yeah. Yeah.
He goes, Tell me, like, how are you? Like, what's going on? Like the whole,
What is to
Well, because
account
you
for
got to remember,
this?
here's a doc who like his whole life is he just cares about helping the guys,
Yeah.
and he's doing it across, and he's doing an amazing job. But then he sees you and like everything he's trying to do, he's like, wait, you got it. Like, that's it.
Like, what did you do?
Yeah, exactly.
And I go, here's what I did. Here's what I'm doing. And he's like, dude, you've got lightning in a bottle, because like Vital Warrior was a it was an answer to the pharmaceuticals. It was like, okay, Vital Warrior is a non-pharmaceutical system for transforming our stress into power and opportunity, transforming adversity into opportunity. That's what it is. At its core, that's what it does. And it uses the leverage of the human body to do it. So acupuncture, myofascial release, far infrared spectrum therapy, and the foundation now is Kundalini Yoga and Jiu-Jitsu. You know, not the, like, I'm going to destroy you.
No, I get it.
You know,
Yeah.
just a good warrior practice to keep your skills sharp without destroying your joints. So,
And you're getting cardio in there, right? Obviously. I mean, I know that with the jiu-jitsu, right? So that's the cardio
the
part,
whole,
right? Mm-hmm.
all of it. So that's the system here. And he's like, this is lightning in a bottle. You totally need to, like, you should like turn this into I was like, well, I've been working on trying to get this thing going in like this nonprofit. And I started a nonprofit. I just can't get any money. This is
the hardest part.
Yeah.
I somehow are good at that part.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I could use some notes because like, I'm not,
there's a lot of other things that I'm not good at.
There's other things we gotta talk about. So it's yeah. Anyway, so he goes, well, I need you to come with me to Mexico. And I was like, okay, what's in Mexico? And he goes, I got these doctors I want you to meet. They might be good for a part of your program. You know, and I was like, okay, well, let's go talk to these doctors. And I go talk to the doctors, and one doctor was awesome, was like tip top. Like, I was like, check. The other doctor,
yeah, we get it.
I was kind of like, okay, something's off. But I go, so what are you guys about? They go, well, we want to use, we're a clinic and we use ibogaine to treat drug addicts. And I'm like,
you're like,
I look at Kirk and I'm like,
you're like, why am I here?
I'm like, because of the pills, you know, and he's like, no, just hear him out. You know, what they want to do is they want to use this system of using ibogaine and 5-MeO DMT to treat combat related stress. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what do you need from me?
Why am I here?
Well, they need a nonprofit to kind of receive the funds to pay them to be able to get guys through the door. And I was like, then I look at Kirk and I'm like, well, that's not what we're about. Like, I told you, our whole thing's like non-pharmaceutical. Like, this is the opposite of what we are. And he goes, yeah, but your story, like it just, you know, I was like, he goes, it worked for you. And like, I think that it could work for other people. I was like, I did ayahuasca. I didn't do ibogaine. I've never done ibogaine. I've never done 5-MeO DMT. Like, and he goes, well, maybe you should. And I was like, no, dude, that's not what I'm doing now. I've got this. This works. And he goes, okay, well, then we're driving back and we're heading back up. And he goes, look, man, he goes, there's a guy that like is really needing this right now. And if it can give him a chance, like, and I'm telling you, this guy is like, he's just like right there. He's going to kill himself. And I was like, fuck, how can I not? You know, and I'm like, okay, all right, well, I want to be there. I was like, I'm going to be there with him.
That's what I love about the community.
You know,
you guys can do whatever you want. And it was all about one individual who needed help.
Yeah. And it was like, and I wasn't going to let him do it alone. you know, and I was like, no, I'm coming and I'm going to bring a medic and I'm going to bring, you know, weapons.
In a turban and white clothes.
No, I didn't. I wasn't that deep in.
You don't want to scare everybody just off the bat, like right away.
What's that?
I said, you don't want to scare everybody right away with the turban and the
Yeah,
whites.
yeah.
And,
So,
crawl, walk, run.
so, you know, Hari Jivan said something about that because I brought it up. I go, sorry, this is a sidebar, but
Go for it.
But Hari Jivan goes, I brought it up one time. I go, I feel like the guys in the military are going to bump on the turban and everything. And he's like, what? And I go, shit, here it comes. And he goes, since when does the doctor have to dress like the patient? And I was like,
check. Got the answer to everything.
I won't bring that up again.
I've listened to many of his, I want to call them speeches, talks. Lectures.
Yeah.
Wow, is all I have to say.
Yeah. He's the dude.
He's a cool cat too. He's like kind of like very now, but like very like
He's
centuries
very, like,
ago
yo, bro.
at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I was like, how does it work? How are we going to do this? And he goes, well, I have a donor that will donate funds to Vital Warrior, and then you just pay through Vital Warrior to do it. And I go, can I make this work legally? And you know, it says like it's specifically for suicide and all these Vital Warriors specifically for, you know, treatments that stop suicide, you know, treatments combating suicide. And I was like, that is verbatim in our mission.
Yeah,
so
it's in the mission.
I can do it.
Good.
I can do it. And so I'm like, okay, let's go. All right, let's do it. You know, and so we did. Went down there, did the thing. I actually, I got to hold space for the participant, and it was successful. You know, I think he went back again a couple of times later, but he felt good afterwards. And then I think you were the next person, I think.
Yes.
You were the second person.
Yep.
I knew of Kirk through him. We were friends with him, and then, you know, Kirk was like his friend as well. But he knew that we were struggling, and they were like the only family that really knew because we didn't want to tell anyone, of course, you know. So when he came back and reported that the treatment was successful, his wife reached out to me and said she really thought that it could help Marcus. And I approached him about this, and it took...
By the way, I didn't know about any of this.
None of it. Yeah, no.
At all. Like,
we just trusted him.
She said we, like, I didn't take me out of the equation. I didn't know any of this stuff.
I did bring it up to you, and for a year you were like, this is crazy. No. Like, what can I get in Mexico that I can't get here? This is the most medically...
all I heard was psychedelics and you're going to get better. And I'm like, I went to all boys Catholic school. This is weird. I don't even know what we're talking about here.
And after a year of convincing or thinking or ultimatums or all of it, all of the above.
Another year of antidepressants, multiple like you, and a couple brain clinics later.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Kirk, who was working with you, and it was like the team guy chain of we're going to help Marcus now. And so the reason why it's so special for us to have you on, along with Kirk, along with Sarah Wilkinson, along with others who were so instrumental to the formation of vets, is because through that spirit of caring for the community, you didn't know us, yet you immediately signed up to help us.
Of course. Like, what are you going to, like, that's why I joined. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to be a part of the SEAL teams. It's because I knew from growing up as a child what it was.
Yeah.
And I never had it.
Mm.
I never had family. That's why that decision to leave the SEAL teams was so freaking hard. Because it was like I worked so hard to be a part of this family, and I picked my son, you know.
As you should.
The thing with the we went on for a little while. Like I did like 8 or 9 people. And then like the doctor that I liked left for a reason, I imagine. And the other doctor was there, and it was just getting, it got off.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm done. I'm out. Like, I'm not risking my nonprofit for.
Yeah. And
for
your
this.
intuition was spot on, of course.
But at the beginning, you know, I was like, well, could this be like, you know, and when I think about it, like after I had done the shaman thing, I was like, you know, I could turn this into a whole thing. Like I had the thing. So it like, he didn't have to push hard, like to get me to do it. Cause it was like, it makes sense, you know, and it's a part of my journey. Like the plants are an ally. And it was a big part of my story. It's a big part of the beginning of my story. But my story, my progression and my understanding of all the things is there's so much beyond the plants that we can do and have already in our systems that we can leverage.
I think it's important for everyone to hear that the plants, ibogaine, ayahuasca, psilocybin, all these experiences that people are doing, I think it's important that people understand like that's a tool and that you can't rely on that for everything.
Hari Jivan calls it, he goes, it's another system.
It's a tool.
It's a different system.
I use it as you say it well. It's a tourniquet. When you're bleeding out, it's a tourniquet. You throw it on there, it stops the bleeding. What has to happen to that tourniquet at some point?
You have to take it off.
Tourniquet has to come off.
You know, so.
Then what?
And then you got to heal. You have to heal, let your body heal itself. Here's my biggest thing that like for anybody that's out there just doing the plant hopping thing, you know, and if it's taking the edge off and you're doing the thing, you're doing the microdosing, you're doing the whatever system it is you're using, right? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that it's been my experience because I was there, you know, until I progressed in this system enough to realize that right there was robbing me of the experience of who I really am. It helped me for sure. It's my ally. It's an ally and a tool. But every time I start going off, like I start losing the kindness, the love in my heart, and I can't find it again. So I have to go back to the plant to remember where I'm at or where it's at or to feel that again because I haven't been able to connect to it. And I don't ever learn how to find that connection within myself, for myself, as myself, then I never experienced the truth. I get led to the truth. I get a glimmer of the truth. I get to look and see and, you know, I'm aware of the truth's presence, but I don't get to experience myself as truth. Not in a way that changes my reality. Not in a way that changes other people's reality. And that becomes, through the experience of having that type of truth, that's Christ. That's God. That is what we are. We are truth. We don't have to search for it. We have to be it. And all of the books, all of the teachings across all of the religions have truth within them. But we have to develop the cipher of the mind, the spirit, the body, to be able to see the words for their real meaning, to unlock the power of the word. And that's literally when I see Christ's words, that's what Christ is saying to me. Here's the truth. Here's this. If you do this, if you look here, if you do this, and it's like, yes, that's everything this teacher has been teaching me. Like through my own body, it increases the power of my connection to Christ. And it's not adversarial. That's a game people want you to be engaged in so that you don't get to experience that truth, so they can control you. And then people will attack me and call me crazy. It's fine. That's fine. My reality is different. All you got to do is look at where I was and where I'm at and what's happening next.
That's such a really important point. And I feel like so much of our journey and my rootedness has been in my faith. I don't use psychedelics or plants for my own, healing or experiences. And I don't judge those who do. I run a nonprofit that provides treatment grants for veterans who are seeking plant therapy, psychedelic assisted therapies without having used them.
But they're not looking for plant. They're looking to heal. And they're looking for truth.
No, I only bring that up to say that I wouldn't put my name and reputation and have pivoted my entire life for something that I didn't believe in. And I don't believe in it because I drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak. I believe in it because of what you just said. Yeah. I've seen bondages be broken, families be restored, generations be saved, futures be unlocked. You can't deny that. No. And so when someone says to me, like, how does this fit with your Christian faith, whether it's Kundalini Yoga or plant medicine, I don't really know, but I know what I'm seeing and experiencing. And so I would love for you to weigh in on, some of those skepticisms or criticisms or judgments.
It's very easy. If God is all and God is in all, I mean, you can get into these universal debates with anybody. And everybody's going to have their own experience of the spin of all of their perceptions of their experiences, all of their truths that they've experienced, what they have been foundationally anchored into. You have to understand, people have myelinated their neural pathways towards these systems of religion that are, and a certain within that have nuances of unique facets within individual communities. Even one church can be contradicting another church, can be contradicting the church. Mm-hmm. And it's like this religion contradicts this one, but they're all Christian, and then these people don't. It's a weaving of confusion. And again, this is just me and my experience and my relationship with Christ. That's not what Christ intended. Confusion on how to experience the truth of God, that's not the Christ teaching for me. That's not what I'm reading in this book.
We know where chaos and confusion comes from.
Exactly. So if we remove that deception, mm-hmm. what's left?
Truth.
You.
Yeah.
You are left. You. And you have to assume the mantle of royalty over your kingdom. And your kingdom is the reality that you're experiencing in this life as a collector of experiences of God. There's nothing else. There's no other game that's being played. There's no other mission. All of the missions and all of the tasks and all of the things are leading you to one thing in service, to truth. Or you're getting lessons on where you should be looking. I guarantee it. And how's that working out? Because there's a very real system, no matter where you're at in your journey, to take you into a better place. Yeah. And you already have all those tools at your disposal right now. You have all of the things you need to and over time, just a certain type of breath can elevate you out of the tension of whatever it is you're in. You elevate above the energy of whatever you were wrapped up into. I could walk you through 3 breaths and you'll forget where you were.
And if someone who's listening is interested in learning more, where do they go to do that? Do you have a website or
there's
teachings?
my teacher's site is gobindinstitute.com. Gobind, Gobind institute.com. My nonprofit is vitalwarrior.org. And our whole charter is to propagate this to as many people as we can. So, first responders, active duty reservists, and retired military service members and their families. Well, our live broadcast just got shut down last year, and but prior to that, we had 500 veterans engaging in that program that were sponsored through partnerships and Vital Warrior, and we lost all of it because we don't have funding, and we can't keep it going. So we do what we can with what we got, but we want to get bigger. We want to have a facility and a place to partner with you guys actually, and have a place where people can go, like literally go. We host, we prep, we do the things you guys weaves into your mission, for people out of town or whatever. And we run retreats, Vital Warrior retreats there, and augment with what you guys do, so it can be a very cool launch pad. And we could talk about that offline, but it's something that I've really thought about for a long time. And we got to move. We got to move. The time, there's no Switzerland these days.
Well, the work that you're doing, the stuff that you're teaching, the system, as you call it, I think it's helped me get to where I'm at today, because I did a lot of it after my plant medicine work with you. And I feel like I got to a place and I need to go back there, and you know that. But I stay grounded. I meditate. It's the only thing that really keeps me and helps me. 2 weeks ago, I did a full Sudarshan Chakra Kriya after not doing it for a while. And it was literally like life-changing overnight. I mean, it's hard for me, again, unless you experience it. Like I had to lie down and just 30 minutes of breathing. And
what I've noticed,
it was, again, profound. And it just keeps telling me like, oh, this is what you need to continue doing. Matter of fact, if you didn't do anything and just did that, life just naturally just gets better.
It will get better.
And
what I notice when you do that, especially when you're on a routine, is that, first of all, it can be just incredibly emotional, or, there could be just a really huge emotional release. And then I feel like the uptick in gratitude and awareness and just your ability to focus and be present greatly increases.
And that's the reason I'm going back to the plants this week, just to, like you said, just to kick me back on the right course.
I did that once a couple of years ago, and I was reminded, nope, you're good.
Well, you're there. You're good.
Yeah. No, it was like, no, you're good. It was literally, the plant was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
It felt like it was down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't feel like this. It felt like it was down here. And I was like, oh. And they go, yeah. Why are you here? And I'm like, well, I just want to say hi. I won't be back.
I won't be back.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, it goes to the story of, oh gosh, it's my brain's foggy. He goes over to Nepal and he gives the guru LSD.
Oh yeah, nothing
multiple
happens.
times over, like enough to take care of many people. And the guru sat there for hours and was like, "It's something supposed to happen." He's like, "I live in this world. Like I live above this. I don't need any external pharmaceutical to get me here." And I was like, "I've heard this. I get it."
Yeah, no, that's real. That's what that was. And it's and then you get to a point where when you like put pressure in certain pressure areas and like you focus on a third eye, squeeze in certain muscle groups, root locks, neck lock, diaphragm lock, and you align everything and you become aware of your entire central nervous system and everything becomes in this kind of perfect balance, then everything starts expanding and it's just like better, actually.
If
it's
you
better
had to-
than the plants because it's a like it's you.
Well, I always feel like it's
know?
more,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's obviously spiritual, but pleasant. The plants usually are not pleasant. They teach you a hard-handed lesson many times.
Yeah.
And I feel like your system, at times, like you said, it can be emotional. You may yell out.
Oh, there's things, man. Like,
But it's pleasant.
Not always.
Not always.
Mm-mm.
Well, no, there's times when I've had to stop right in the middle of it, especially with the with the Kriya we just spoke about, where I literally have had to stop and just put my head and just be like, oh shit, like I don't know, I get through it. Like I'm like,
if you push
I'm
through
working
that,
through some stuff right now.
If you push through that, it can get. I know. I know. I just
want to say where I was trying to go with that is just to say thank you that you're an inspiration for me. I still have a lot of work to do.
I'm here,
but I'm in a good place.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Always.
And you're such a genesis of vets and, have become such a dear friend to us. Big shout out to Simona as well, who's been by your side.
She's my saint.
She really is
Saint
just
Simona.
The sweetest.
I mean, I don't even have to say anything.
But
I'm just along for the ride here.
We've witnessed your family go through some really tough times. And I want to acknowledge the loss of Seth and how just losing a child, I cannot even fathom.
Here's the thing.
Seth, your son, who you left the SEAL teams for.
Here's the thing about that, though. I didn't lose him. Like, he's not here physically, but it's funny because he's more a part of my life now than when he was here.
Mm.
There's all the war. There was war. His things going on, the frustration, the anger. I was trying to fix myself and like trying to be a dad at the same time and like not doing great. That's where I call Saint Simona because she did a lot of that heavy lifting with him. I couldn't. I was incapable. Like I couldn't like, it was just, I had to constantly be away from people. It was that bad. Like I couldn't even be around people.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
how are we supposed to take care of?
How are we supposed to take care of people? How am I supposed to deal with a kid
when we haven't taken care of ourselves? Right. Put our own mask on before we help others. Right.
But when he passed away, thank God and thank Hari Jivan for this practice because let's just put it this way. I use an analogy. It's like, I've got a genie that I'm trying to keep in this lamp, but there's a lot of motherfuckers that want to rub it.
I have to admit,
you know what I'm saying?
I have to admit, I have stolen that from you, but I always say, I was like, Mikal says it best. Like, I got to keep the genie. We got to keep the genie in the bottle. How do we keep the genie in the bottle? This is how you keep the genie in the bottle.
And the people that were like drawing my son back into the drugs that killed him, COVID is what really did it because he was about to come out of it and then COVID hit and shut down all the support programs. And, but the big piece of that is the transition and the incorporation of that type of grief. Notice I said incorporation. I'm not trying to get rid of it or not think about it or not. I had to bear myself to it. I had to open myself to all the pain. And there was a point in time where I wondered if, and I said this on the Sean Ryan show too, I think, because I can only say the truth so many times. There's only,
Yeah, but the more you say it, the more people hear it. And one person is you are going to save someone's life from this.
But it's like,
show that 7 people are listening to.
It's like, well, here's the thing. So that's funny. Hey, dude, that's a pretty good delta.
It's a start.
What's the percentage of that? You had to use 7. I can't do the math in my head.
That's a lot.
So let's call it 5.
Right.
If we'll go 5 people listen to this. Save one life. That's 20% of the people that have listened to the show.
It's amazing.
That's
We're doing all right.
You could write that on a tagline.
We're doing all right. We can only go up.
Yeah. So, but incorporating that level of pain, I was given a bunch of gifts. The biggest one is the realization that all of our events have an equal measure of blessing attached to them. If it's a very negative event, there's a blessing there. There's a blessing there. You were given that to give you the strength to carry out some function. And you don't have to go digging into the event. I'm not saying that. Don't go digging into the event that's like digging through shit looking for gold. But having a practice that will let you understand the whys and the hows as it comes up naturally from the subconscious into the conscious mind as it's leaving, you'll get these epiphanies of understanding. And through those understandings, you can then go rewrite your relationship to that past. And by rewriting the relationship to the past, you create a better, higher foundation of your overall view of your life. And that's going to increase the level of your projection in the present and towards the future, because you're now in this blessed existence versus this cursed one. Do you understand?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I really respect and admire the way that you've pushed through your pain and used it to enrich the lives of others. I think your wisdom cannot be understated or your wisdom cannot be overstated. I said that backwards. And Marcus is right. You will be a blessing and you will continue to impact lives. So I want to come back real quick before we wrap to your name change. What's it like to change your name as an adult? Why did you do it? And what does it mean?
Can I rephrase it? What's it like to change your name in the SEAL teams?
So we did that once. I did it.
You changed your name?
What?
Well, metaphorically.
Oh. What?
Not my name, but our persona. I thought that's where you're going with that.
No.
We changed who we were.
No, I was in the SEAL teams and I changed my legal name.
Got it. Okay.
You're gonna catch some shit is what's going to happen. And it's really funny because now 15 different tangents went off in my head when I said that. But keeping it succinct is my name change came through meditation, in prayer. And it was very clear. And it was like, this is going to be your name. And I wasn't sure I heard it right. Right? So I didn't do anything. And it came up again and it kept coming up. It kept coming up. It kept coming up while I was praying. And I was like, okay, what's this? What's it mean? And it's like, that'll be revealed to you. And I'm like, great. Okay.
I want it now.
Yeah. It's like, I would like to know right now. And so the first part was very easy. That's the first name. The reason of the first name came up, and it was through signs. I saw it was weird. I saw Mike Koch's funeral. What do they call it? A funeral pamphlet, that thing they handed out.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty obvious. Yes. Okay, cool. Because that was that was what we call the inciting incident. Basically, it started this whole. I can literally. That was the first time. It was the first time I ever realized that people weren't just completely self-centered, like self-serving, like literally do something for someone else like that. Like it was the first time because I'll do that, but I never, I thought I was alone. Everybody say they do it, but like actually doing it. So that was obvious. And Vega is a star in the Lyra system, and it's the North Star of the past in the future. It becomes the North Star again when declination shifts in a bajillion years or something like that. And then, so that's the meaning behind it. And once I engaged in that, everything changed. Running around the teams like, what are you, a Russian Spaniard now? And I'm like,
and they called you Miguel?
Miguel?
What made you decide to do it?
What made me decide to do it? That's an interesting question. I felt there was a presence. There was a presence there that I knew that was my identity. That was where God wanted me to go. So
a fresh start, a new beginning.
I mean, if I'm being honest, here's the thing. Like,
be honest, always.
Look, I had this. You got to understand. This came in me like God help me. Like hitting my knees, doing the work and doing a lot of work to try to that really coming back to what I had as a child. Because combat has a way of kind of making you drift off to other things, I guess, at least for me. And my relationship, my relationship to God is what made me do it. And when I did it, it was like I looked in the Bible and everybody changed their name.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good point. I never thought of that.
Everybody got given a new name. And I know I opened myself up to a whole lot of criticism with that, but you know what? It's my experience.
Yeah.
And
that's okay.
And this is the first time I've ever shared that, by the way, because I don't know.
It's real easy to
asked
get
the question.
Caught up in like what man thinks, but ultimately I continue to just every day keep my sights on what is God's calling on my life. That's the only thing that matters to me. It doesn't matter what other people say.
Yeah.
So
it's just
I've never known you with another name.
Yeah. Yeah. When I tell people my old name, they're like, that doesn't really fit.
I love that.
Mikal, so I think I was going to maybe wrap it up with, I like to leave this with always, what can a person who's listening, it's always one, whether one person, a million people listen, what can a person take away from us speaking here today, from you speaking, that they can remember, that's very easy for them to take away and go, okay, I got something, I can go work on this, or I can look into this. What's the takeaway? One takeaway.
Every one of the things that keep coming into my head have 15 different, it's use your breath. If you're in a situation where like things are getting tight, change your breathing pattern. You're probably holding your breath or breathing very shallow. Breathe. What are you thinking? What is the relationship to your own sound? Through the development of your relationship with your own sound, you develop the relationship with your thought that precedes the sound. Develop that. Create the vibration, feel the vibration of your own sound in your body with your eyes closed. Look up to your third eye. Then combine it with breath. You'll be in a different space. And that's just a basic tool. Everything else I was going to say was going to go off into a bigger class. But the point of it is that you're not alone. You are all, and God is with you. Whether you believe or don't believe, have faith or don't have faith is irrelevant of the truth of that. Whether you participate or not, it doesn't matter.
Mikal, thank you for coming and sharing your story.
And for being part of our lives, for being part of our story, for being part of the vet story, and for continuing to give back in such powerful ways. You teach a class every Sunday for Vets Grant recipients. And as you mentioned, you are training the trainers who will continue to go out and take this message of hope and healing to others. So thank you for the domino that you might not even know that you pushed over in 2007 when things started to get dicey.
Yeah, I'm glad I did. You guys have really saved a lot of lives, man.
Thank you.
I'm blessed to be a part of it.
So
Just trying to answer the calling on our lives and keep up with the pace of God, because it is like, whoosh, mountain moved, path unrolled, run.
Yeah.
Whew,
Yeah.
it's a lot, but
Yeah.
what a blessing.
I mean, imagine, at least there's no chariots behind you.
True. Well, there's actually metaphorically.
Anybody get that?
Plenty of
Anybody
that.
get that joke?
The chariots?
Yeah.
Parting of the Red Sea.
There we go. Yeah.
See, I need more work
All right.
in the word. Well, thank you. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you soon.
All right. That's a wrap.